This is the longest possible bridge in Minecraft. It stretches from one diagonal of the world to the other, meaning that this bridge is over 84 million blocks long. Stick around to the end of the video to find exactly how on earth did we build this thing. In order to understand the scale of this bridge, let's do a little experiment. This bridge contains something like a few billion blocks. Assuming that Steve can place one block per second, he could do it in roughly 85 years. If he brought some friends, he could do it in even less time. Now, nobody in their right mind would spend their lifetime building this bridge. Come on guys, let's build this bridge! That's definitely not an option, so what are some other options? From inside the game we have three main options. Command blocks are able to duplicate around 32,000 blocks at once. While this is quite a lot, it is sadly not enough for our application. Structure blocks can import structures from files, which makes them an interesting candidate, but yet again they are very limited in size. Which gets us to the third candidate, World Edit. In the past I have successfully copied more than 64 million blocks in one go, while also being significantly faster than traditional cloning with command blocks. So World Edit it is. Building this bridge while having the maximum possible render distance would give us a map that would match the size of 2B2T. And that's just crazy. But luckily we can still lower the render distance to minimum, and that would give us a file that would be 750 GB in size. That doesn't sound too bad, right? But considering that in a case of a power outage I still want to make a few backups, that means that we need more space.
The next day.
Using all spare old hard drives that I found around the house, I managed to build this NAS system. It will be used to store backups of this bridge. This has now solved all of our storage. The faster the computer, the faster this bridge will be built. But since my hardware is what it is, I still need to apply a few other tricks. The bridge design that I used was originally designed by this Planet Minecraft user, but I still spent a dozen of hours trying to make this design as perfectly diagonal as possible. To build this bridge as fast as possible, I also chose height at which the bridge would not cut into the terrain as much.
Early the next morning.
This Arduino Micro is now acting as a keyboard, typing in the commands to move the player and paste in the blocks. It works a little bit like this. Minecraft, load the bridge schematic please. Do I still need to build? Yes. Teleport me to these coordinates please. Paste the bridge schematic. Do I still need to build? Yes. Teleport me to these coordinates please. Paste the bridge schematic. Do I still need to build? Yes. Teleport me to these coordinates please. Paste the bridge schematic. The test was semi-successful because it did work, but I would have to slow down the building speed so much that it would take almost 100 days without any downtime to build this bridge. And to build it faster, I decided to try Super Flat World.
Failure!
Okay, let me explain why this is actually better. By making the world super flat, the steps needed to build the bridge are reduced, because we do not have to build the support legs manually, which means that the algorithm will be much faster. In addition to that, because we are not storing those additional terrain chunks, this means that the world file will be much smaller, which will make it possible for more of you guys to actually open this world. I created a blank world, set the render distance to minimum and plug in the microcontroller. And after checking on the machine for a few times every hour, I decided to let it do its thing. On day 1 I decided to make the first backup. I decided to increase the time between individual backups since that will save me some time. When I woke up I was greeted with these pleasant messages. And to my surprise, nothing really looked to be missing in the time of occurrence, so I just ignored them for now. Progress was going smoothly, and that began to show in the world file size. It was also at this moment that I realized that I had disk compression enabled, which basically means that without that feature I wouldn't be even able to store this file on my PC. First game freeze happened. While it did not damage the bridge luckily, it took away some time that could be otherwise used for building the bridge. On day 12 we finally reached the 0 point, which means that we were finally halfway there. Entire world has also occupied less than half of the available space on the hard drive, so I knew that I had enough space to continue. Due to the negative coordinates I had to tweak the algorithm a bit. A 5-day streak of not a single freeze has occurred, so I decided to reset the machine just in case. And it was finally done, and I also decided it was a good time to make the final zip, and that took quite some time. Finally, after months of planning, experimenting and building, this project was finally done. No! At this point I had the bridge built in theory. I have also searched the entire game log from all the 23 days, and I have found a couple of suspicious lines in the text. The logs reported around 38 random errors and about 3 mistyped commands, but when I checked them manually there was nothing really there. To verify if this bridge was built correctly or not, we will use a simple trick. This bridge itself contains blue ice, which means that our player can use the boat to get across the entire thing in about 12 days. If at whatever point we see the player standing on the floor, that means that we have a hole somewhere. And so the testing began. While the player did bump into the walls a couple of times, we still managed to find one small missing piece of the bridge, which was only a couple of thousand blocks away from the starting point. After that, I manually placed that part in and it was finally done. Huge thank you for watching guys, consider subscribing, and if you guys really want to download this world, maybe, and just maybe, I will provide a world download.